Welcome back, LA King and Anaheim Duck fans, to Royally Quacked, our first off-season podcast. I'm your host, Gary Spink, and I'm joined by my super son,
the favorite son,
Cody Spink.
Yeah.
Now, here we go.
You know, I just realized I don't have a trivia question. I totally forgot to do one.
That's great.
Let's see.
We'll go on to the news. We can do quick trivia later.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, so we're going to start off. We're going to break it up and make it different. We always start with Duck news. We're going to start with Kings news. Okay, and some of this we're going to talk about it in a little bit later, too. So some of the Kings news. Don't be surprised, Kings fans, but P.L. Dubois is playing for Team Canada. And Adrian Kempe and Carl Grundstrom are playing for Team Sweden in this year's World Championships. Those are the only Kings I do believe playing. Really great news, Kings fan. The Ontario Reign moved on to the third round of the AIHF playoffs, and they've been undefeated so far. So all you Marco Sturm haters, I mean, I know there's a lot of them with the Ontario Reign fans because I see the posts, but he's winning when you're supposed to win. So let's cheer on our junior team, the Reign, to go all the way to the Calder Cup. It's been a while since we haven't done it since we were the Manchester Monarchs. Other Kings news is, if you hadn't heard, Rob Blake is returning as the GM. And not just that, there is going to be no buyout, according to Rob Blake of P.L. Dubois. He says it's the LA Kings management, coaching, probably even our veteran players to help P.L. Dubois get his game back. So let's pray that he does what he did in Winnipeg and has his best season ever in season 2. And let's cheer him on, even though he's playing for Team Canada. Let's cheer him on in the World Championships. And that's all I've got for Kings news this week. Cody?
Yeah, the news is going to be probably less and less until, the draft and then free agency. So, like I said, I only got one little bit of news. And I'm pretty sure most of you Ducks fans already know, but this is the only news I have. So the Ducks will select the 3rd overall pick in this year's draft. So I don't know if you guys saw the draft lottery on Tuesday or not, but yeah, the Ducks got the 3rd overall pick. And to be honest, I'm okay. Yes, I would have loved to have the 1st or 2nd round, or 1st or 2nd overall pick, of course. But I'm okay with the 3rd overall pick because that's where we were, more projected to be. But I think I'm just happy we didn't move back. Like, we didn't have a higher pick, like 4th or 5th overall, like we normally do, because we usually get gypped. And then the other good news is when they did the cards, our logo was not upside down this year. Yay! Yeah, we got a double whammy last year, not getting the 1st overall pick, and our logo was upside down. So, I'll go over more of what I expect the Ducks to.
Cody, I want to put a twist on the upside down duck thing.
What?
I want you to think of Top Gun.
Okay.
And you saw Maverick, which will now be Wild Wing, upside down, and he's looking at his opponents who are right side up, saying, "We got the 3rd round pick. We got the 3rd round pick. 3rd pick of the draft. We're going to get the best player."
Yeah. I would have never thought of that, but
I don't know. I just thought of it. You know how I think it sometimes it comes off the wall.
yeah, I shouldn't expect anything less. Um, but
Sorry.
but I'll go over who like draft prospects in a later podcast because today we're going to focus on player grades pretty much. So I'll focus more on the draft because I want to do more of my homework on all the draft picks who I think the Ducks should take with their 2 first-round picks. So that way you guys at least have an idea and you guys kind of know what's going on. So like I said, and interesting thing I just heard on, I forgot what podcast I was listening to. You know, the Ducks have never moved up in the draft ever. In the 31 draft lotteries there have been, the Ducks have never moved up. They've either stayed pat or got bounced back. So, all right. Well, that's it for Ducks news.
Wild Wing needs to go to church if he wants to move up in the draft.
Wild Wing was doing everything possible last year for the Bedard draft to get that. He was making sure he didn't go under any ladders. You know, he was doing everything possible because the social media team was just having fun with that, but obviously it didn't work. So we'll go on to league news. Rick Bowness, the Winnipeg Jets head coach, is retiring from coaching in the NHL. He's coached the Coyotes for 48 games, the Bruins for 80 games, the Senators for 235 games, the Islanders for 99 games, the Stars for 176 games, and he also had a Stanley Cup final with the Dallas Stars, and the Jets for 164 games.
Wow.
That was just him as a head coach. For a long time, he was like either an assistant coach or he took I think a break or something.
Now I'm kind of hoping he wins Coach of the Year.
I did too.
Go out with an award. Why not?
That would be great. All right. The next bit of news is one team has technically 2 teams have selected a new coach. We'll go over the first one right now. The Ottawa Senators have hired Travis Green as their new head coach, and he signed a 4-year deal. So the New Jersey interim coach this last season is now the Ottawa Senators coach.
Interesting.
Yeah. I've heard. Go ahead.
Obviously, New Jersey. He didn't want to stay in New Jersey.
I think he wanted more money, or he wanted a longer deal in New Jersey, or New Jersey maybe just didn't want him to be their new coach. I don't know exactly what the details are on that.
Well, that's good. Well, we also have a new coach for the St. Louis Blues.
Well, same coach, just no longer the interim.
Yeah, well, he's now the head coach, not the interim.
Yeah,
head coach.
Interim.
Drew Bannister.
Yep.
And good luck to him.
Yep. And then you want to go over the last one?
Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs has decided to let go Sheldon Keefe. He's been fired. Obviously, they didn't get out of the first round like they did last year, and they're expecting more. So, yeah. have just kind of other league news. I don't know if you heard about this, but it is not something we've even talked about. But there was speculation of a trade between Montreal and Toronto with, I do believe, Mitch Marner going to Montreal for Cole Caulfield and I think a draft pick.
See, I've thought of something similar, and I can't. Did I tell you about this?
I'm not sure.
So
remind me, and maybe.
So here's what I was thinking. Obviously, the Leafs, they need a goalie and they need defense, right?
Right.
So here's what I was thinking. Trade Gibson and one of our defensive prospects, and maybe a second round pick for Marner. In a way, it helps Toronto because then they'll get less cap from the Marner contract, because I think he's making like 10 point something. I want to say he's making like over 10 million a year. So we get Marner, they get Gibson, that's already $5 million less, and they get a goalie, and then they also get a defensive prospect too. So it's going to be in a pick. So then that's going to help them out on the salary cap as well.
So basically, you're going to trade Gibson. He's like 6.5, right?
Something like that, yeah. I think so.
Okay, so 7.5 with maybe a little less than 7.3.
Yeah, but think about it.
That
they get a goalie,
and that saves them like 3.2 million, I think. Isn't he at 10.5?
Yeah, so almost 4 million then in cap space.
Well, it'll be 7.
I mean, but that's if the player that defensive prospect plays for them.
True.
So
that's true.
Oh
yeah.
I mean, if that's
that makes sense, but I guess the thing is the Ducks would love to have a guy like Marner. Is Gibson what they're looking for?
I think they just want any goalie, that can actually play. They don't really have a number one goalie.
Yeah, so, the only thing I can think about that is I believe the confidence in John Gibson is not as strong as it was a year or 2 years ago. That could be just because, unfortunately, the Ducks have been a pretty terrible team as far as winning and losing. But that could be winner chicken dinner for both teams if Gibson would play. And obviously, Marner was a disappointment in the playoffs. Definitely this year. So I mean, hey.
Yeah, and Marner is that right wing guy. He's going to be
top 3, not top 6.
No, that's what I'm saying. He's that he's that top. I'm just saying, top right winger that Verbeek was talking about. So both teams get their needs fixed. The Ducks get their right wing, the Leafs get goaltending and salary cap relief. So
I think you should call Verbeek and tell him to make that trade.
Let's pause the podcast. I'll be right back.
God,
that was my idea. I think what they should have done, to be honest.
I could see your idea, and obviously, if I was Verbeek, I'd make that trade a second.
Yeah, I would too.
I mean, Marner would be the best player on the Ducks by far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the most talented.
I mean, can you imagine? I would probably do what? Carlson, Marner, Terry, and then on the second line have Zegras, Cutter. God, I'm blanking on someone.
McTavish?
No.
Vetrano?
No. Who am I missing? I know I'm missing someone. I can't think of it at the top of my head. Oh, that's bad on me right now. Anyways,
it's the middle of the day. We're doing this.
I know
the earliest recording of a podcast yet for us.
Yeah, we normally do this Sunday night, but since as a family, we're going to the Angels game for Mother's Day tomorrow. So happy early Mother's Day, Mom. Or late Mother's Day by the time this comes out. So I figured we do the recording that way. I'm not trying to. We rush home, record the podcast, and I got to edit. And now it's just, at least it's recorded, and I can always edit it later I can listen to it on my way to your guys' house. I don't know when I'll be able to edit. I won't be able to edit it, but yeah.
Perfect.
But yeah.
So
Anyways,
we're gonna move on from that then.
yeah. All right. So what's next on the? Actually,
You want
I
to
got
do
your
the,
trivia question now. Let's do that, or you want to do that later?
No, we can do that now.
Okay. Who became the first player to score more than 550 career goals as a member of the Kings?
As a king,
As a King.
the first one. I got two names I think of right off the bat.
Who are the two names?
Luc Robitaille
Okay.
and Marcel Dion.
So, all right. I don't have the exact answer until you give it to me because it's like a trivia thing.
Okay.
You do have one of the names on there, but one of the names is different than your other one.
So there's two people that have done.
No, obviously it's the first one, but
I picked the one. I'd say Luc Robitaille.
it doesn't give me the answer. Why is it not giving me the answer?
You're supposed
here
to
we
have
go.
the answer ahead of time.
Okay, wait, I'll find out right now.
Didn't do your homework, son.
No,
You're in
I
timeout.
didn't. I'm bad. I know. Oh, here we go. So your final answer is who?
Luc Robitaille.
That is correct. I didn't. I guess I just went on like a trivia thing real quick just to find it.
Marcel Dion didn't make 550, or he's the second one to do it.
Well, Marcel Dion the same as played the same time as Luc Robitaille?
No.
Then no, it says right here on the night of January 19th, 2006, during a game against the Atlanta Thrashers. There you go. A lot of you hockey fans don't know that name. Luc Robitaille surpassed Marcel Dion on the Kings' all-time scoring list with his second goal of the night, his 501st goal in a Kings uniform. Oh, it says more than 550. So I think Marcel Dion had exactly 550.
So he did it by 5. He went to 551. So I was right. They're both there.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
And I guess Robitaille scored a hat trick in that same game too.
Man, I miss Luke. Luke.
All right. At least we got the trivia question done, and now I don't feel as bad. All right, so we're gonna just go over like a quick recap of the World Championships and then the Stanley Cup playoffs real quick. We'll do the World Championships first. The first game on May 10th was Switzerland versus Norway. Switzerland won that game 5-2. And then the second game it was Germany versus Slovakia. Germany won that game 6-4. And then probably one of the best games so far was Finland versus Czechia. And guys, or as Ducks fans, Dostwall came up big. Czechia won 1-0 in a shootout. So there was literally no goals, even in the shootout, I believe. So Dostwall came up big. Next game was Sweden versus USA, and Sweden won this game 5-2. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see who on our team scored in that game. I think Kempe had an assist.
I believe you're right. Yes.
Let's see. Yes, he had an assist on the Victor Hedman goal in the third period. So at least he had a point. Zegras did not have a very good game. All right, and then Canada won 4-2 over Great Britain. And on one of the goals, we had a Ducks Kings combination in that game.
P.L. Dubois.
Yeah. So let's see, which one was it? It was on the Brandon Hagel goal. Pierre-Luc Dubois passed it to Zellweger, and then Zellweger to Hagel for the goal. Bedard got 2 goals in that game. Let's see the next one. I think it's Kazakhstan beat France 3-1. Denmark beat Austria 5-1. And then Latvia beat Poland 5-4 in overtime. Oh, and I think Czechia's and these are the games that are going on right now. Czechia's beating Norway 4-3. And then USA's winning right now 6-1. Let's see who scored first. See if Zegers is on the board. Oh, Zegers with the goal. He scored a goal in the third period at around the 50th minute mark. Yay, he actually scored.
Oh, and an ex-King scored too. An ex-King. Mikey Eisenmont scored a goal.
Oh,
Wow.
okay. Oh, I forgot he was a King.
Yeah.
Oh, it's 5-3 now in the Czechia game. Let's see. Oh, and is it this game or was it the other game? Yeah, I think it was the other game. In the let me double check real quick. I recognize the name for the Czechia. Oh, in the shootout, former Duck Andre Kasa scored in the shootout for Czechia. That's a name I haven't heard in a while. So that is the update right now. So it's actually 5-3 Czechia over Norway. So and then now we'll go on to NHL playoffs.
Awesome.
Yep, that's NHL.
So I got to tell you, Cody.
I don't want to hear it. I already know what you're gonna say.
My pick for Stanley Cup champion is 7-0 in the playoffs. They look tough, dude.
But
They
you gotta
do.
at least those are okay. So we're talking about the Rangers Hurricanes series. We'll start with there. But all the games have been 1-goal games.
But that's what champions do.
Yeah.
No, to me, that the 4 teams left in the Eastern Conference. Wow.
Yeah.
What you talking about? I mean, Florida and Boston. Woo! Pasternak.
Okay. So real quick,
Mike Tyson and David Pasternak in the ring.
Hey, let's focus on one series first, and then we'll move over.
Oh, I couldn't help myself.
You're jumping the gun. God, maybe Saturdays evenings are not good for you.
It's afternoon.
Oh, whatever. All right. Well, for the Carolina Rangers series, game 1 was 4-3 Rangers. Game 2 went into a double overtime, also with the Rangers winning 4-3. And then Thursday, the Rangers also won in overtime 3-2. So the Rangers do have a 3-0 lead, and this could change by the time the series could have a different turn by the time we're done with this podcast, or probably by the time it comes out. So at the time of recording, the Rangers and Carolina game 4 hasn't started yet. So, God, I just hope Carolina at least makes it a series.
You have them going.
I have Carolina going to the Stanley Cup.
It's okay. I had Winnipeg going to the Stanley Cup.
Didn't you have them winning?
They were out in the first round.
Oh no, you had Rangers winning.
I have the Rangers winning it, but Winnipeg going to the Stanley Cup. I'm pretty sure I had that.
All right. So now we're going to the really fun series. This has been a fun one to watch.
Yes.
Or more, I should say entertaining, I should say. So to my surprise, Boston won game 1 5-1. And then Florida comes back and beats Boston in game 2 6-1. And then in game 3, Florida won 6-2. So Florida is leading that series 2-1. Game 4 will be Sunday at 3:30 Pacific time. So we'll probably be at the game when this is starting.
Well, it might be done by ending by that time. It's a 107 game, so
true.
Depending on how long the game goes.
Yeah, but okay. Now we can talk about the Tkachuk Pasternak.
Oh,
so That was it was so a buddy
Hold
of
on.
mine.
Hey, Cody. Let's get ready to rumble.
Oh, great! Now we got to pay a fine for that. So
In
a
this
buddy,
corner, David Pasternak. In this corner, Matthew Kachuk.
so a buddy of mine, Lewis, he's not really he's never really been a hockey fan, but since the podcast, he's been watching more and more. And he sent me a video and he's like, "Hey man, I'm watching the game, man. This game's intense." And then I call him because he was asking me questions, but I was driving, so I was like, I gotta call you. I can't text. So I call him and he's like, "Oh man, they're fighting again. Oh, Florida scored again. Oh, they're fighting again." And then because like he's the reason why we came up with the idea to do like a hockey slang or hockey terms, like a hockey 101, so you guys know what we're talking about.
Well, he talked about understanding what is a PK, what is
He still
what
doesn't fully understand it, but
just those simple terms. When I
yeah,
talk about hockey 101, we're going to probably do it even a little more in depth than that
yeah,
because I love that idea. And just for the novice hockey fan, help them try to understand the game better.
yeah,
Now, to be honest with you, if you really want to learn the game, you guys are a novice, take somebody who knows the game, go to the game. This is
yeah,
so much more fun. This is how I got better at hockey. I went with a friend of mine to a Kings game. He was from back east, played hockey. And, he was, oh, that happened. That happened. I go, how do you know that? And he goes, oh, I'm just watching the players. You can see,
yeah,
this is what this is. This is what that. Next thing you know, now, some almost 40 years later, I mean, I'm him plus.
yeah,
I learned that, and I learned the game. I can go to a game. I don't lose the puck too often. I mean, sometimes it's hard when you're kind of high up, but most of the time I'm with that puck. I know
yeah.
what's going on, and I can almost tell you what the penalties are going to be. Probably 60 to 70% of the time.
Same.
Well, yeah,
Yep.
that's because you and I've
Yeah,
gone so many games together. Because you learned some of it from me, I'm sure, and
yeah,
you've taken it even to another step
yeah.
better than me. So, um,
But
he's the driving force behind Royally Quacked, guys. So if you really enjoy the podcast, Cody's the man.
thank you. I appreciate that.
It's the
I
truth.
just no, and I remember my wife bought me. We went to it was a Ducks Montreal game, and we were like 4 rows from the glass, but there was like a bunch of seats open right in the glass, and we literally are like, hey, let's just go sit there. So we were literally on the glass. Cam Fowler comes from behind Gibson and throws it. Like I knew exactly what he was doing. He threw the puck off the glass. It was like literally coming right for my face. And everyone flinched and like I was like, oh, and I just watched the puck go by. I was like, oh, there he goes. Because as like I watch it so much, I know what they're doing.
It didn't help that you were a catcher
Oh yeah,
in baseball as a youth, and a very good one at that.
yeah.
And you have to be able to watch the
Oh,
ball all the way into the glove, and
an umpire too.
and that too. We both
So
done that. But,
yeah,
so he has great eyes on following the puck and the ball. So
yeah. So but anything else on this Boston Florida series?
I can't wait for the. I've been so Cody's he takes fuel to stations, big truck. I'm a lead for a medical company. We pick up specimens at different places, and unfortunately, we've been so short-handed. Even though I'm supposed to be at the office some of the time, I've been driving 98% of the time. So what I've done is I'll throw out a shout out to Dish. I have Dish. I just put Dish on, and it goes through the radio. I don't watch it unless I'm eating my dinner or something and stop. But I have the game on.
Yeah,
And I'm listening to the games. I listened to the Pasternak Kachuk fight. I'm sitting there going, I want to see this. Sounds like so much fun. This is such a great time for hockey fans. I mean,
Oh
true
yeah.
hockey fans watching these games. They are that series is the most fun to watch so far to me.
I wouldn't even see just true hockey fans, because like even like Lewis, who doesn't understand the game, he's entertained watching this series because he was just like, man, they're fighting again. Oh, dude, they're in. He was on the. I was on the phone with him when that Kachuk Pasternak fight went on.
So, Lewis, if you're listening here, let's all get together and watch a Stanley Cup game on a weekend.
He would like that.
You can come over our house. We'll get in. We'll have a beer or two. Watch the hockey game. He can watch with two true hockey fans, and maybe in person he'll see what we're talking about.
Yeah,
there's an invitation. So talk to Cody about that, and we'll try to get that into our schedules.
No, Lewis, it's a no. I love Lewis, but he's a Cowboys fan, so I don't know how much I want to help him with that. But
No, I help him with hockey.
Yeah, I know. I'm just kidding.
But
no, I don't mind.
He's not a Cowboys fan, Cody. Let's be the truth. He's a Cowgirl fan.
Oh, there we go. See, told you, Lewis. All right, let's move on to the playoffs because we still have player grades to go over.
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Well, the Dallas-Colorado series, Game 1, Colorado came. That was a game too. Colorado came back and won that. They were down 3-0 in that game, came back and won 4-3 in overtime. And then in Game 2, Dallas won 5-3. And in Game 3, they do play tonight at 7 p.m.
Oh, yeah. That's a good series.
That should be a very good series.
Yes.
And then, all right, and then the Vancouver-Edmonton series. In Game 1, Vancouver won 5-4. And then in Game 2, Edmonton won 4-3 in overtime. And Game 3 will be Sunday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, guys. So, man, those games are, that series, those are both 1-1.
Okay, so
what do you think?
Well, I think whoever wins the Dallas-Colorado they're going to be going to the final against the Rangers. Although, dang, Florida, after getting humiliated by Boston at home.
Yeah.
Look at what they've done. They're a force to be reckoned with. I mean, in the one we did for Royally Quacked, I think I picked Boston to beat Florida. And then when we came back again, I changed my mind. I'm not changing that one, but I said, I do believe Florida is going to win that.
See, when I was doing my bracket, I had Boston beating Toronto. But I in my opinion, I think whoever won between the Florida-Tampa Bay series was going to beat Boston.
Yeah, I didn't think that. And
that's what I thought.
But when we did it last week, I changed my mind and said Florida to win. For some reason, something told me I think it's going to be them against the Rangers, and oh my gosh, that's going to be another great series.
Yeah,
and I believe it's going to be Edmonton. And I can't even tell you who to pick between Dallas and Colorado.
I don't know. Vancouver is looking pretty good right now too.
They were up on Edmonton and let them back in the game.
You still never know. I mean, think about Dallas did that to Colorado.
Yeah, true. The 4 best teams, no matter how you want to shake it, they're there because they won. I mean, it's like in 2012, who would have dreamed that the Kings playing against the President Cup champion Vancouver, and they would walk to a 3-0 lead in that. Who'd have thought that?
I would have never guessed that.
And then I think it's pretty much, and you have, if you really go back and look, it wasn't, they won every game, but they were all close games, just like we're talking about in some of these other games. Like you said, Carolina and the Rangers all won one-goal games.
Yeah.
The Kings won a lot of one-goal games in 2012, and I think they went 16-3 or 4 throughout the whole playoffs.
I want to say 16-4 because they didn't. I think they won every series. I think
they swept St. Louis. I think they lost one game to Vancouver.
They lost one to the Coyotes, right?
So that's 2.
And then
they lost 2 in the they won 4-2 against
the Devils.
Jersey, yeah. Or was it 4-1? I can't remember. But anyways, like I said, playoffs are something else. And honestly, any of these 4 teams could be Stanley Cup champion if they play to their A game and the other team doesn't. So
any of these 8 teams can do it.
Well, I meant 4 series.
I know. But all right. Player grades?
Well, we did our playoff recap. I thought we were gonna talk about our sponsor.
Oh.
Let's do that first. Yeah, and we'll come back and do player grades. And just so you guys know, before we go to ad break, we're going to be doing forwards this podcast.
Yeah.
And then we're going to do defensemen and goalies on the next podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll go, and all the off season, we'll have things to talk about. We have a whole bunch of ideas. And if you have anything you guys want to know, please share that with us. But let's go to ad break and we'll come back.
Sounds good. All right, we'll be right back after this message. Hey Ducks and Kings fans, step into the spotlight and make your prom night unforgettable with our exclusive prom night photo shoot package. For just $150, immerse yourself in the beauty of the great outdoors as our professional photographer captures your radiant glow against nature's backdrop. Prefer an indoor setting? No worries. At $300, experience a studio session where every click of the camera amplifies your elegance and style. Each 45-minute session guarantees you 10 high-quality images, a timeless memento of a night filled with laughter, dance, and unforgettable memories. But wait, there's more. We also specialize in senior photos, graduation photos, and quinceañeras. Because every milestone is a story waiting to be told. So why wait? Book now and let us narrate your journey through our lenses. Contact us at 951-719-6377 or at Christina122193 at gmail.com, or go follow us on Instagram at Xtina's Photo on Instagram. That's XTINAS Photo for a glimpse into how we turn every shot into a masterpiece.
Welcome back, Royally Quacked fans. I hope you heard that our sponsors' great message, and I just wanted to share something else with you. They talk about pictures for weddings and for proms and stuff like that, and grad nights and all that. How about family pictures? Because one gift, I know my wife gave herself a gift, and every one of the pictures came from our sponsor. And she sent them to Mixed Tiles, got Mixed Tiles. Now I have to do all this work in the house to get these Mixed Tiles up, which we're probably doing later today. And then my mother-in-law got a whole bunch of Mixed Tiles from my wife for Mother's Day. That's a great Mother's Day gift. So be thinking about that for next Mother's Day. Valentine's Day. There's a whole bunch of days. Pictures are visual memories for you. So if you ever want a visual memory, think about getting some pictures from our sponsor. Now we're going to go on to player grades. How do we want to do this, Cody? Do we want to take a player at a time?
What, you do a player, then I'll do a player?
Yeah.
You do that.
Okay, I'll start. I'm gonna go with Adrian Kempe.
Okay, so wait, so we were doing so the player grades. We did like a C average, right? Like C
is an average player.
Okay.
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 Or there, a player can improve. Let me just go over my thoughts on how I did it. So I'll give you an example, Kings fans. Trevor Lewis. He's not going to score 1 million goals for you. He's not going to get 1 million assists, but he's on the penalty kill, you know.
Yep.
And part of his grade's going to be how good our penalty kill was. So he may not have all the stats. I hope you get the idea of how this works.
Yeah.
So it's not just thinking, okay, David McDavid's an A, and who do I want to say? Arthur Kaliev is an F. I'm just saying. I mean, Kaliev may get a little bit better grade for some of the things he did, and I don't know how you get better. Well, A plus probably for Connor McDavid. But anyways, we're going to go with Adrian Kempe to start with. Adrian played in 77 games this year, 28 goals, 47 assists for a total of 75 points. He was a plus 13. 72 minutes. He had, just grab this real quick here, 4 game-winning goals. Took 246 shots. Played an average time on ice of 18 minutes, 56 seconds. My grade for Adrian Kempe was an A minus.
All right. All right. So I did mine grades just a little different. I try to go back and watch all the games when I can. So this is like the stat. Like I look at the stats, the eye test, and everything. So guys, it's just fully my opinion on the players and how I thought they did this year. And of course, I got to account for like missing time. And you'll notice like some of the players you think that would have a higher score, I docked them because of stupid penalties, which happened a lot. So my first one is Frank Vetrano. So Frank Vetrano had 37 goals, 23 assists for 60 points. He was a negative 20 in plus minus, 85 penalty minutes, 7 game-winning goals. He had 272 shots and a shooting percentage of 13.6. But he also had 156 hits and 78 blocked shots. So, I gave him a B. It would have been higher if it wasn't for all those stupid penalties he kept taking. And like I said, he was great on the power play, and I would say he was okay penalty kill wise, but he did force a lot of teams when we were on the penalty kill. He did force a lot of teams for them to take a penalty from his speed and his hustle. So, like I said, if it wasn't for all the penalties and everything, and if he would have been a little bit better defensively, he probably would have been at an A, but I'm going to give him a B. So.
Okay. My second player, I'm not going to give you the name right away. It's going to come at the end this time.
Okay.
Can I guess? 29. Yes, he had 29 goals, 44 assists for 73 points.
Okay.
He was only a +1 though, but he did lead the team with 11 power play goals and 30 power play points. He shot 225 shots at a 12.9% clip, 2 game-winning goals, and 26.3 in the face-off circle. He didn't do a whole lot there, but you know who that is?
I'm gonna go with Quentin Byfield.
Incorrect.
Oh.
It's Kevin Fiala.
Oh, Fiala.
And my original grade for Kevin Fiala would have been an A minus, but I have dropped that down to a B plus. And I'm going to tell you why. 1 plus minus 1. Kempe was 13. Other than a few people that were minus on my list, plus minus, he's the lowest superstar type of player that on the plus minus.
Hmm.
And he wasn't very good in the playoffs.
Yeah.
So Kevin Fiala, a B plus.
Remember, these should just be grades based on just, or I mean, I guess you can include playoffs. I can't really do that with my team.
Well, I'm going to give him a B plus for a +1.
Okay. All right. All right. I'm not going to tell you. I'll tell you who this one is. So, and for the Frank Petrone, he played all 82 games too. So that's another reason why, his score was a little bit better. This next player played 76 games, had 20 goals, 34 assists for 54 points. He was a -10, only had 24 penalty minutes, 5 game-winning goals, 172 shots with a 11.6 shooting percentage, 17 hits, 17 hits and 30 blocked shots. And I gave this player a B plus. Do you want to know who it is?
I do.
Who?
You said, do I want to know who he is? Do I know?
Said, do you know who it is?
McTavish?
No. Troy Terry. I gave him a B plus. I felt I would have given him an A if his scoring would have been a little bit better this year. But like I said, I can't really get too mad because our top 6 was only healthy for like a total of 8 games this year. Completely healthy, if that. Actually, I don't even think that, because McTavish got hurt towards the end of the year and everything. So I don't even know. I can't even tell you. I know it was like single digit games for sure. Like the whole top 6 was healthy. So, but yeah, Troy Terry. I think he, future. He's probably gonna be definitely an assistant captain next year, if not captain. He needs to shoot more, and I think the only reason his scoring was a little low is because, one, he was trying to get Carlson involved when they were playing together early on in the year, when they were playing and I do appreciate that, because I think that really helped Leo Carlson's development and everything, because he was helping Carlson become a better NHLer, getting him more involved. Instead of Terry taking control of everything, it was more, he was trying to get him involved so that way he felt more comfortable. So, like I said, if he would have, been more of a scorer this year, then yeah, I probably would have given him an A minus. But I'll still give him a B plus because he was teaching, or not teaching. He was what's the best way? He was pretty much helping Carlson out a lot.
Mentoring.
Mentoring. Thank you. That's the word. But yep.
So I'll tell you, I'm not gonna make you guess at everyone. So I'm gonna go with the big C on Zay Kopitar. By the way, Fiala played all 82 games, and if I didn't mention it, Kempe played 77. He played 82 games, 26 goals, 44 assists for 70 points. It was a +11. 22 penalty minutes, and 10 of those were a game misconduct.
Really?
Remember the game misconduct he got?
So he had 22 minutes, and oh, that's right, he did have the game misconduct. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
He played 19 minutes 39 seconds average per game. He had 9 power play goals, 14 power play assists, 1 shorthanded goal. By the way, Kempe had 3 shorthanded goals, which I believe led the team this year. He took the mantle from the guy who had it last year. 6 game-winning goals. He broke the team's all-time scoring record.
Wow. Yeah.
And I gave him an A minus. On to you.
All right. The next one, Mason McTavish. So McTavish played 64 games, had 19 goals, 23 assists for 42 points. He was a -23, and he had 86 minutes in penalties, He had 3 game-winning goals, 130 shots for 14.6 shooting percentage, 33 block shots, and 67 hits. And his faceoff percentage was a 51.7. So he was definitely one of our better faceoff guys and everything. But if it wasn't for him getting hurt that first time, because he was probably one of the best players in the beginning of the year. I want to say he was like top 10 in scoring for like the first month, because that Vetrano, Strome, McTavish line was just like one of the best lines in hockey for a little bit. But I gave him a B minus. I still felt like he was taking too many stupid penalties, like really stupid penalties a lot. Of course, that was the same with Vetrano. But Vetrano got a higher grade just because he scored more. He put up more points and everything. And McTavish just, after the first injury, he just really fell off. So, but he still did good and everything. So, I gave him a B minus. So, your turn.
Okay, Trevor Moore, 82 games, 31 goals, 26 points, or 26 assists for 57 points. I think it was his best scoring season ever. It was a plus 11. Here's where I was disappointed. Only 2 power play goals, 5 power play assists. He did have 2 shorthanded goals. He was the reigning Kings shorthanded goal champion from the year before. Got beat out by Kempe this year. He wasn't much of a faceoff guy, so I won't even bring that up. But he had 5 game-winning goals. But he had 31 goals. That was a personal high for him. And he played all 82 games. I mean, we had that a lot. I gave Trevor Moore a B plus for the goals. It would have been a B for everything else.
Yeah.
So he was a B.
Yep. All right. Ryan Strome, 79 games played, 11 goals, 30 assists, 41 points. He was a minus 20. He also had 86 penalty minutes. He had 0 game-winning goals, 131 shots, and had a shooting percentage of 8.4. His face-off block shots, he had 20, 64 hits, and he had a face-off winning percentage of 46.1. I gave him a C.
Okay.
That was pretty for his skill, and he's a better player than how he's been for the Ducks so far. I know he's better. I can't really blame him because the team around him hasn't been very good, but he hasn't also looked very good either. He's had his spurts, but I gave him a C just because his face-off percentage isn't very good. He should have scored more goals. There was plenty of times where I saw him with the puck in a great shooting area and he decided to pass it. I want to say he was one of the main culprits that I was talking about when we were when we finally got a power play. Strome would always take not always, but most of the time it was always Strome taking a penalty. Like literally right after we got the power play. Like that very first 5 to 10 seconds, Strome somehow took a penalty. And then our power play is gone. And for a player that's making $5 million a year and only having 40 points and being a minus 20, I don't know. I think he's better than that. So I gave him a C. I may give him I'll give him a C plus. Be a little nicer.
Really?
I'll give it to him because of all the injuries, but still he needs to be better. So C plus.
Okay, so originally this player I gave a B plus, but I'm going to change it because it's something I should have talked about in Kings News, and I forgot to put it in there. We're going to talk about Quentin Byfield.
Okay.
I gave him a B plus. One, he disappeared for 17 games.
He did.
He didn't score a goal in 17 games. He had assist a few in a 20 game period, like 1 goal and 3 or 4 assists. But I'm going to change my grade, and he's going to get the highest grade, I think, of any player. I'm going to
Really?
give him an A, and let me tell you why. Let me just go over his stats first, and I'll tell you why. He played 80 games. He had 20 goals, 35 assists, 55 points. It was a plus 19. That's the best of any forward on the Kings. He had 42 penalty minutes. Now, he got demoted once Arvidsson came back to second power play team, but he had 6 goals and 8 assists. I think that needs to change next year. He needs to be on the number 1 power play, I think. He had 4 game-winning goals. And one thing I didn't say about Kopi was his face-off percentage, 55.1%, which is
Wow.
probably top 10 in the AHL. I have not looked that up, though, but I think it's top 10. He was 45.6%. And what I just found out is he was sick again. Like he was that one year when he lost all the weight. He lost a bunch of weight. It was part of his exit interviews. And I heard, and if I say this wrong, because I tried looking it up before you got finished, but I couldn't do it. But I do believe I think he had his tonsils out. He had surgery to have his tonsils out. Now, something I'm going to tell you, because at the same age, both Cody and I had problems with our tonsils. I had my tonsils and adenoids out at 3.5 years old. And from what my parents told me, you could hear me breathe, And when I came home from the hospital. My dad was sitting watching TV, and I was asleep on the couch next to him. And he all of a sudden jumped up and was looking at me because I wasn't making any noise when I was breathing. And he thought I had died. He panicked all of a sudden, thought I had died. Cody was 3.5, and he'd had nothing but all these ear infections, and they said it was because of his tonsils, and had his tonsils out at 3.5. And you know what? Have you had another ear infection?
No.
I don't think so. So those things can affect you immensely physically. And I'm thinking that's why he probably had his tonsils out. Now, I'm going to have to check on this, and I'll try to give you an update on it afterwards, because I didn't think about it before the podcast today. I meant to do it. Just one thing on the mini list I could add about Quinton Byfield. But I give Quinton Byfield an A. He's the future of the franchise. If he didn't have that 20-game slide, he would have been my MVP. He would, even over Quinton or over Adrian Kempe. A plus 19. He's 21 years old. How many 21-year-olds have plus 19?
Well, it's easier when you play with Kopitar a lot.
Yeah, well, that's funny because what was Kopitar? A plus 11.
Yeah.
He was plus 19, 8 better than Kopi. Maybe it's because he's playing with Byfield.
Yeah.
Anjay, I love you, brother. I got your jersey. Don't take offense to that.
You're welcome for that jersey.
I do believe he was drafted to take Anjay's spot in the future. So, anyways, on to the next one, Cody.
All right. Next one, Alex Killorn. 63 games played, 18 goals, 18 assists for 36 points. Minus 15 and plus minus. 54 penalty minutes. 5 game-winning goals. 145 shots for a 12.4 shooting percentage. 25 block shots. 72 hits. And for a winger, he had a 36 face-off percentage for a winger. I gave him a B minus. I felt like someone that we're paying $6.25 million should have been better. But I can tell you, but when he was inconsistently, he made a difference. But he still took too many penalties. But like I said, that was majority of the team. But you gotta still dock them points for that. But I love his goal celebration so much. Every time I see him score and he just does that like that, I get pumped up just watching it. So, like I said, he did come up in clutch. 5 game-winning goals, and 8 out of 18 goals. So he was pretty clutch. It was just under a third of his goals were game-winning goals. So, yeah. So I would say B- for Alex Killorn. Would have been higher if he would have stayed healthy and and not taken so many penalties, and yeah.
Okay.
Next one for you.
Philippe Deneau played in 82 games, 15 goals, 35 assists, 50 points. He was a plus 15, 44 penalty minutes. He was on the second power play unit, had 3 goals, 6 assists, had 2 game-winning goals. Face-off percentage, 51.9%. If you're over 50%, you're good. Very good. Because I guess it would be, it's just like great. You get 3 out of 10 hitting a baseball and you're a Hall of Famer. 50% in the face-off circle is incredibly rare. I gave Philip Deneau a B+ because between him and Trevor Lewis, they were the main reason forward-wise. And Kempe was in that too. They were all penalty killers. And they were number 2 in the NHL until we played the Edmonton Oilers, which we sucked at. But anyways, Philip Deneau, B+. Great pickup by the Kings, by the way. He's been more than advertised.
Yeah.
On to you.
Oh, okay. Next one. This player is going to have the highest grade of the day. I'll let you guess.
Dramatic pause.
Yep, dramatic pause. So this player played 55 games, 12 goals, 17 assists for 29 points. He was a -11, only 16 penalty minutes. He had 109 shots with 11% shooting percentage. He had 25 block shots, 28 hits, but a face-off percentage of just under 35%. So, do you want to take a guess?
Leo Carlson.
The reason why he has the highest grade is one, he did play a lot less minutes than all the other players, but he was also on that game management in the beginning of the year, so he was only playing like 1 or 2 games every week, if that. And then he was hurt for a while too. But you could just tell there's a difference when he's on the ice. He moves so smooth. The passes, the plays he makes, he controls the game out there. And I see that. And like, was it a listener commented last week's podcast, Adam, he said that he could see Leo Carlson being a future captain just because, like, there was times, I want to say there was a couple players that went after Carlson to try to make him hit them to draw a penalty, and he just skated away. When do you ever see an 18-year-old, 19-year-old rookie just skate away? He's like, no, I'm not going to fall for that. So, like I said, I could see future captain in him. Probably I could see him being a future Hart candidate for sure, in my opinion. If we can get this team up and going again, I could totally see him just going off. So I gave him an A-.
All right. So I did try to Google Quentin Byfield's surgery and can't find anything.
We could talk about it next week.
Yeah, I think I heard it on either All the King's Men, or maybe it was even on Locked on Kings. I'm going to go on to Pierre-Luc Dubois. Played in 82 games, 16 goals, 24 assists for 40 points, -9. 7 power play goals. That wasn't bad, but only 1 power play assist. 49.7 in the faceoff circle because he was lousy at the start of the season, so he did improve on something.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, you guys played the Ducks more in the last part, so that really helped.
yeah, but he also had 4 game-winning goals. He has as many game-winning goals as our MVP, Adrian Kempe.
There's a big difference between both of them.
No, there's no doubt. Okay, so with what's the Spider-Man thing with much
With great power comes great responsibility.
yeah, well, with
Sorry,
great talent
nerd came
comes
out.
great responsibility. And I don't know. You tell me if I'm being a little harsh. I gave him a D. I gave Pierre-Luc Dubois a D. I expected so much more.
To be honest, there might be a lot of Kings fans that are wishing you
Gave an F.
or a D minus.
You know
I'd
what?
say D plus is probably fair-ish.
I gave him a D. So, just because it was disappointing. And I'm putting in all aspects of it: the contract, the trade, everything that happened with it, what the expectations were, and I gave him a D. Then you guys, you know what? You can share with us if you think we're nuts. Obviously, I picked Winnipeg to go to the Stanley Cup Finals. I obviously crazy.
If you want, send us who your player grades are too.
Yeah, we'd like to hear from you. Yeah. Obviously, you know what? I learn every time I listen to something. I learn something.
Yeah. So my next player, Brett Leeson, 68 games played, 11 goals, 11 assists for 22 points. He was a -7, 14 penalty minutes. He had 91 shots, a 12.1 save or shot percentage. He had 65 blocks, 80 hits, and as a right winger, he had a 41.5 face-off percentage. I gave him. Oh, my thing went locked out. I gave him a B because when he was on the Ducks last year, he was a fourth liner for sure. Like someone like you see in and out of the lineup. This year, I wanted him in the lineup more. And he played good. Like when he was on the ice, there was like that special like energy out there. He was a great forechecker, great penalty killer. I don't know why there was a moment where Greg Cronin just sat him for like 6 or 7 straight games. I don't understand that. But he kept another player in the lineup that shouldn't have been. I think Brett Leeson looked way better. Like you could just tell there was just that little extra, like I said, energy on the ice when he was even just on the team or in the lineup. So I expected him just to be another like just a basic regular fourth liner, and like he is supposed to be a fourth liner, but I think he even got like third line, second line minutes this year. But he played well when he was up there, so he totally played above my expectations. So I would say a B for Brett Leeson.
Okay. Well, my next player, I bounced all over what to grade him, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
First of all, I'll give you his name, Alex Laferriere.
Okay.
I mean, in so much aspects, he was more than I ever expected as a rookie. In other areas, I was utterly disappointed when I looked at the stats. So let me go over this with you. Alex Laferriere, straight out of college, played 81 games.
Wow.
He had 12 goals, 11 assists. Okay? I didn't give you his grade yet because I was thinking somewhere in the B range for him because he's a rookie. Mm-hmm. But he was a -14. And he had 2 game-winning goals. But get this, he's a right wing. And he had a 53.8% face-off percentage. That I'm impressed with that.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kings leader was for plus minus was Mikey Anderson with a plus 22. He's a minus 14.
Wow.
I mean, that wasn't good. So my overall, I was thinking B's. Face-off circle for a rookie. That was an A. Minus 14. That was a D minus. But I gave Alex Laferriere a C. I go a C for his play and a B plus for what I think he's going to turn into. That's my grade for Alex Laferriere.
All right. My next player, Jakob Silverberg. He played in 81 games, 7 goals, 12 assists for 19 points. He had a +4 in plus minus.
Oof.
Yeah. 24 penalty minutes. I believe he had 1 game-winning goal, 102 shots, but had a shooting percentage of 6.9. 36 block shots, 16 hits, and had a 34 face-off percentage. But he was a winger, so he's not really known for his face-offs. I gave him a B. I know the stats don't really agree with that, but I'm giving it
a +4
yeah.
on the third worst team
That's another reason.
in the NHL last year. That's impressive.
He had the most out of all the forward. He was a +4 out of all the, and he played 81 games, guys. And he averaged over 13 minutes a game, which is still quite a bit for a forward. And he was a third line forward too. So, being a +4, not taking a lot of penalties. And he's a captain or assistant captain. He was a leader for this team. And I'm sad to see him retire, but I completely understand. But I'm gonna finish it with a B and Silverberg. Silverberg. Okay, go on.
Okay, we're going to talk about 2-time Stanley Cup champion Trevor Lewis. He played in all 82 games.
Wow.
He had 8 goals, 8 assists. He was a +7 on basically the fourth line. That's impressive right there. To me, that's very impressive.
Yeah.
He was one of the key reasons we were number 2 on the penalty kill. He had 2 game-winning goals.
Wow.
So 25% of his goals were game winners. Honestly, overall, if you looked at Trevor Lewis, look at his stats, he's a C minus.
Yeah.
I gave him a B because he played all the he did all the stuff nobody cares about, really.
So
the
it's
stats for.
like Trevor Lewis and Silverberg, like exact same role almost in a way. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're out killing the penalties, playing defense, and still they're both pluses. So Trevor Lewis, 2-time Stanley Cup champion. You got a B, my friend.
Yeah. See, guys, it's not all about just stats. You got to see what they do on the ice and everything like that, because some guys aren't meant to score. They're meant to like stop the other team's best line or best player. Like Silverberg. I'll give you a hint or an example. On a penalty kill, I believe it was against the St. Louis Blues. His stick broke, so now it's really technically almost like a 5-on-3, 3.5, technically, because the sticks really help take away passing lanes, and he didn't have a stick. But you know what he did? He went to the team's best power play player and just shadowed him the whole time. He just skated right next to him the whole time.
Connor McDavid, right?
No, I said they played the Blues.
Oh, that would be like
Robert Thomas.
Yeah.
And sure enough, it was such a smart move, because he just took away that team's, just took him out of the play, and you take away, and then it became like a 4-on-3, So it's instead of a 5-on-3 or 3.5 with open passing lanes, no, it ended up being a 4-on-3, and it made it a little bit easier. And then they end up getting a clear. But you take away the team's best power play. He's probably their best offensive player too. So, like I said, players like Jakob Silfverberg and Trevor Lewis, you're not going to see them blow up on the stats or anything. But us hockey fans, we notice those things that they do on the ice. So, all right, my next player.
But how about my next player?
You just did Trevor Lewis. I haven't even done my next one yet.
I thought you just did.
No, I was just talking about how Trevor Lewis and Silfverberg are alike. God,
He went on for an hour.
I'm gonna just kick you out of this podcast. Anyways, next player. This next player only played 31 games. He had 6 goals, 9 assists. 9, nice. For 15 points. But he had a plus minus of -1, 30 penalty minutes, 1 game-winning goal. He had 73 shots for 8.2 shooting percentage. He had 15 blocks, 16 hits, and a 38.4 face-off percentage. Trevor Zegras. I gave him a B-. It probably could have been less. It probably could have been more, in my opinion. But I give him a B- just because, one, he was only here for a third of the year, or a little bit more than a third, and everything. But it's hard to give a player a higher grade when he's not on the team for majority of the year. But he did make massive improvements on his defensive game. Massive improvements. He wasn't a defensive liability or anything on the ice, and he wasn't taking as many stupid penalties as he normally does. So, when he did come back from the latest injury towards the end, you could tell he was one of the best offensive players on the ice. You could just tell like they were missing that someone that could just see the whole ice like he can. So, I mean, you can probably say B, but for the injuries and everything like that, I'm still gonna go with a B-. And guys, I'm gonna just get this out of the way now. The Ducks aren't trading Zegras, so just get that out of your head now, please.
I'd have given him a C.
You would have given him a C?
Yep. I'll tell you why. I expected more.
No.
I know he was hurt, but even when he did play, he didn't give us what we had the year before. Very disappointing. You talk about PL Dubois being disappointing. I thought Trevor was disappointing. Now, do I believe that he could come back and be on the cover again? Absolutely, because he's fun as hell to watch play, but it wasn't as much fun this year. That's just my honest opinion.
But here's also the thing. Zegras wasn't 100% until the end of the year. So during the start of the year, he was injured.
Yeah, I got you.
So
I can respect your opinion.
And I
have mine.
Yeah, that's fine. I have more hopes for Zegras having a better year next year than Dubois having a better year next year.
Okay,
that's my opinion.
We'll see what happens, won't we?
Yep.
So the next person I'm going to talk about was a line mate of Trevor Zegras in the World Juniors, Arthur Kaliev. Arthur Kaliev played 51 games, 7 goals, 8 assists. He was -3, 14 penalty minutes, no game-winning goals. He was probably the biggest scratch player that the Kings had this year. And I gave Arthur Kaliev a D-.
Ooh.
And a challenge. Here's the thing,
if he even comes back.
Well, yeah, he might be traded, but if he comes back, there's talent there. There's obviously something going on. I don't know what it was. Nobody's talked about it, but he was benched a lot.
Yeah,
there's something going on there that we're not being told. I don't know if that means trading him. He might be one of the ones to go and to help with a cap and everything else. So that's a great question. But I gave him a D minus because I expected so much more.
Yeah.
So Arthur Kaliev, D minus. That's the lowest grade I gave anybody. Even PL Dubois got better than that.
Wow. Okay. All right. Next one for me. Max Jones. I might change this one, but we'll see how I feel. Max Jones played 52 games, 5 goals, 10 assists for 15 points. He was a -6, 33 penalty minutes, 76 shots with a 6.6 shooting percentage. He had 14 blocks, 127 hits. That's a lot for someone that only played 52 games. I'm gonna give him. I'm between a B minus and a C plus, but I'm leaning more towards a C plus because he played pretty much what I expected him to do, and he did do a little bit better and everything. But he did have that injury that took him out for a while. I think it was like the last month or two of the year. So, but he was playing better than expected. That's why I was kind of leaning towards like a B minus. But I'm gonna stick with my C plus grade.
All right, my next player, the little dynamo, Blake Lizotte. He
Little
played
dynamo.
62 games. He had 7 goals, 8 assists for 15 points, but he was a plus 11. He had 2 shorthanded goals, nothing on the power play. His faceoff percentage was 46.8%. Oh, yeah. And he missed a lot of the season. He missed 20 games. That's the most I think he's missed. And I gave him a C. I would have been more if he would have played more, but I gave him a C.
Yep. All right. My next one, I just changed his grade just a little bit more. Isaac Lundestrom, 46 games played, 5 goals, 6 assists for 11 points, just a -1. He had, let's see, 1 shorthanded goal. He had only 26 penalty minutes, 67 shots. He had a shooting percentage of a 1.5. Not very good. Then he had 79. Oh, wait. Wrong one. Oh, sorry. I was reading somebody else's. He had 38 shots for 13.2 shooting percentage. He had 27 blocks, 51 hits with a 44 percent face-off percentage. I'm gonna give him a B minus, just because he did play better when he came back from injury. He actually played better than I expected coming back from an injury, because I think he I think it was like an Achilles injury, I believe, or something like that. But he's also like a Silverberg and a Trevor Lewis, like that defensive player. They're not going to put up the big time stats or anything, but for someone that's more of a defensive forward and they're going to probably play against more of the other line's top player, he was only a -1. So I gave him a B minus.
Okay. One of our UFAs, Victor Arvidsson, played in 18 games, 6 goals, 9 assists. He was a +4. 1 power play goal, 4 assists. The shooting percentage was 10.2%. Face off 33.3%. He had 1 game winning goal. And wasn't he helped us probably get in the playoffs, but he played in 18 games.
Yeah.
I gave him a C plus. I mean, he's a B plus A player to me.
Yeah.
But if he's not playing, how can you give him a great grade? I know you always can't control injuries, but if you're not playing, how do you get a better grade? So I
Exactly.
gave him a C+.
That's understandable. All right. My next player, who got the lowest grade out of all mine, 68 games, 1 goal, 3 assists, minus 12, 117 penalty minutes, 44 shots for a 2.3 shooting percentage, 27 block shots, 139 assists, and he was 50% from the face-off percentage as a winger.
139 what?
Hits.
I thought you said assists.
Oh, sorry. I wish.
I'm going like, whoa.
Oh,
He got the worst grade.
Yeah. But this player got a D, and that's none other than Ross Johnston.
I knew who it was already.
I mean, he averaged 8.12 or 8.12 just over 8 minutes a game. That's not very good. If you're averaging single digit minutes, you're not a very good player. Honestly, I don't like him on this team. I don't understand why he played more games than Brett Leeson. This is the player I was telling you about. They kept Ross Johnson in the lineup when it should have been Leeson, but I digress. Go on.
Okay, my last player.
Oh, okay.
He's playing for Team Sweden. Carl Grundstrom. Played 50 games, 8 goals, 4 assists, minus 2, 1 game-winning goal, 1 power play goal. Another player I was disappointed with. I thought after what he did in the playoffs with Edmonton, was it 2 years ago or a year ago, he might become a player. And I gave him a C.
Yeah.
Maybe a C minus. The LA Kings player grades for the forwards is now completed.
All right, I got 5 players left.
Whoa!
Well, remember we also probably had to go through more players than you did. So
I'll go through. Hog all the airtime.
I'll not really, but I'll go over them fairly quickly. Let's see. As long as I can find them on the... Oops, went way too far. Let's see. We had Ben Myers. I gave him a C+. He played 14 games, 2 assists, no goals, was a minus 2, 6 penalty minutes. He was just a basic third, fourth line center. So I gave him a C+. You know, I can't really give him much more because he was a trade deadline acquisition. So, next one, Bo Grew. I gave him a C-. Let's see if I can find him on here. Bo Grew. Bo Grew played 45 games, 2 assists, was a minus 9, 22 penalty minutes. He had 30 blocks and 101 assists with a 44 face-off percentage. He was just
another.
Did I say assist again?
You did.
Oh, sorry. Hits.
Did you not? Am I hearing that wrong?
I don't know. 101 hits. Maybe it's the way I'm saying it. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe it is because it sounded like a assist to me.
I'll have to go back and listen now.
I am listening with 66-year-old ears, so maybe it's me.
So, he did have a lot of hits, but like he had like good spurts. It just, I think he was just very unlucky at the same time, but just not what he should have been better. So C-. The next 3, I'll just go over them pretty quick. Brock McGinn, I gave him a C. He was just injured most of the season, only playing 24 games, but he did look pretty much what I expected him to look like. The last 2 were the players that we traded away. Sam Carrick, I gave him a C+. Like I said, he was a great fourth line center. He was actually one of our better face-off guys, actually, I would say. He was a 51%. So, like I said, and he had 90 penalty minutes, 27 block shots, and 137 hits, and that was just 61 games with the Ducks. And I gave him a C+. The last one I'm going to talk about, Adam Henrique. Played 60 games, 18 goals, 24 assists for 42 points, a +3. Guys, a +3 is a big time for a Ducks player, especially a forward. 33 penalty minutes, 3 game-winning goals. He had 111 shots for a 16.2 save percentage, shot percentage, 57 blocks, 59 hits, and he had a 52.9 face-off percentage. You know, no, I'll stick with mine. I give him a B+.
He's looked good at Edmonton, I gotta tell you that.
He has. So that's it for my player grades.
So if you all wonder why wasn't Akil Thomas and Alex Turcotte and I think Samuel Fagemo in my thing, they played such little games, and I do think all three of them are going to be part of the Kings next year, just in my opinion. So, anyways,
that's why I didn't
let us
grade.
know what your grades are.
Yeah, that's why I didn't grade like Cutter, Sam Colangelo, Nestorenko, because I think Colangelo played 4 games, if that. So it's hard to really grade just after one game.
Sounds good.
So, all right. Well, we do got one question, and it's just for you.
Oh, lucky me.
With the Kings not buying out Dubois, do you feel his salary will be a problem moving forward, or will his youth being at 25 years old give him time to be worth that contract? He had a 20-point drop off after the Kings acquired him from last offseason.
Okay.
So, do you feel like it's worth it?
Well, that's the $64,000 question.
$64 million, isn't it?
Well, no. Back when I was a kid, it was the $64,000 question.
Oh.
Anyways, yeah, million. It's like $1 million. That's not much money. $1 billion. Anyways, my guess on this, and I am guessing, is they got him for a reason. There's something there. And Rob Blake has come out and said it's the Kings' job to bring him back as a player. And you know what? Let's see if they can do it. I'll be honest with you. I think, and I'd like to see Arvidsson come back, and maybe even Trevor Lewis. But the rest of them, I think Matt Roy's gone because Clark's going to come in. Spence did a good enough job. You know, England did a pretty good job. Maybe they bring him back again, or Moverari's going to be there. So I think they got enough on the defensive set. But I think, you know, Fagemo, Turcotte, Akil Thomas, we can get them in.
Yeah.
Let them play some fourth line minutes, or one of them third line minutes, or be the extras on the side. Because I've seen speculation as much as $22 million in cap space for the Kings. They got to sign Byfield, and you know, maybe Arvidsson's part of that, maybe not. Maybe they go out and they get that goalie that they're looking for until Portillo's going to be ready. You know, maybe that's going to be a Markstrom or a Saros. I mean,
I got one for you real quick.
Okay.
I forgot to bring it up. So there's a rumor that there's a Dubois-Kemper trade. Dubois goes to the Washington Capitals, and the Kings get Darcy Kemper.
What is Darcy Kemper?
Darcy Kemper.
Wasn't he a King already?
Yeah.
They didn't keep him then. Why would you want him now?
Because he could be the number one goalie.
Is he that much better than Talbot was?
He's won a Stanley Cup
as a starting goalkeeper.
Didn't he won it with Colorado in 22? He's 34.
I don't make that trade. I don't want a 34-year-old. goalkeeper, goalie.
Hmm.
No, I wouldn't do that. But my belief, who asked the question? You didn't even state who.
Oh, that was James. Sorry.
James, our number one question answer. James, you know what? I don't want to dump on a guy for one season. From moving from, Canada down to beautiful Southern California. That could be a shock to your whole life.
Yeah.
Imagine having to move all the way to a new country and have weather that you've never had before, which, dang, maybe he was surfing every morning. That's why he's too tired to play hockey. I don't know.
Maybe.
So, I mean, I want to give him a chance.
Yeah.
And even he's taken the blame for it. And I got to respect, it's on me. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. I don't have any excuse for it. I must be better. It's not like he goes, well, I did the best I could. You guys, that's not good enough. I mean, you see people and they're flipping you off saying, hey, I wasn't good. What do you mean I'm not good enough? He took all the blame for it. So that's a reason why I want to give him a chance. He's got to go do it. There is no excuse. So I think I'm going to tell you, I think Dubois is going to be 65 points or better next year. You heard it here first on Royally Quacked. I'm going to go out on a limb. Hey, PL, don't make me a liar.
It's okay. If you want to have another crappy year, go right ahead, Pierre. It's okay. I'm cool with that.
Shut up, quacky boy.
So I just saw this. The following teams have never played an NHL game in the month of June. There's 5 teams. Can you name me those 5 teams that have never played a game in the month of June?
5 teams?
5 teams.
Uh-huh.
You really just got to think of teams that have never been to the finals.
Yeah. Buffalo Sabres?
Nope. They've played. I think they've won a Stanley Cup, haven't they? Or I know they've been to the final. Didn't Hasek take them to the final?
I don't think so.
Oh, well, they're not on here. Think of someone that's pretty much brand new. Team-wise.
Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, they're one.
I need to get the teams up and look at them because I can't think. I'm doing it right now. Hold on a second here.
So there's 2 teams from the Central, a Metro team, and an Atlantic team. That should give you pretty big hints.
There's an Atlantic team?
One of them may shock you.
Montreal Canadiens.
No, they've played in June. Think of all the Stanley Cups they've won.
But the seasons were smaller, maybe. They didn't play until June.
No, because the last time they won the Stanley Cup was, 93? And they probably played in June. Focus more on the West teams. Those ones will probably be easier for you. There are 2 Central teams.
Arizona,
or AK, or also known as the Utah Hockey Club.
the Storm and Mormons.
So real quick about the Utah team. So for the first year, they're just gonna wear Utah hockey jerseys that just say Utah on them. So they'll be like Utah Hockey Club for the first year, and they actually came out with a 20 list. I don't know what the 20 list is yet. I'll have to look it up. I'll talk about it next week on the podcast. But for the inaugural year, they'll just be Utah HC pretty much.
Winnipeg Jets?
No, they've played in.
They played.
Yeah.
Okay. Nashville.
No, they've played.
Well, Chicago's been there. Minnesota Wild.
Now there's a Metro team. They've only ever, I think in their history, they've only ever won 1 playoff series or 2. One of them was the biggest upset in 2019.
Yeah, like I remember that.
They're a really bad team now.
Columbus Blue Jackets.
And I'm gonna just tell you the last one because you're not gonna get it. The Toronto Maple Leafs have never played. I was
gonna say Toronto, but they've won a Stanley Cup.
But when they won a Stanley Cup, there was only 6 teams.
So they were playing in March.
They've never won more than 3 rounds. Yeah. So
that's incredible.
I remember I told you I wanted to say this little funny joke on the podcast. So earlier this week, when I was driving to the loading rack for work, that's where we get our fuel and everything. There was not a lot of trucks in there. I'm driving through, and all of a sudden I see a coyote just trot right across my truck, and he's just literally looking at me as he's trotting by. I know it's stupid that I did this, or it's stupid funny, but I found it hilarious. I rolled down my window. I yelled out, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be in Utah?" I know it's stupid, but I found it hilarious. But stupid, but it's funny to me. But all right. Anyways.
Well, you're a real comedian, Cody.
Oh, here. I'm the funny child, okay? Let's get that right. Tim does have his moments, though.
You said it, not I.
But I am still the favorite. I have a sweater that says it. So, all right, guys. Well, that is all for this week for player grades and for this episode of Royally Quacked. This was just part 1 of the player grades. We'll do goalies and defense next week. And then after that, we'll do more like off season moves or just fun podcast. We'll have fun with it. So please guys, like, subscribe, go follow all the Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Send us questions, send us comments, tell us what your player grades are. We are at Royally Quacked on all social media accounts. You can go listen to us on Spotify, Apple, iHeart, Amazon, and YouTube. And I have an idea what I might do for the draft. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do yet. I haven't decided what if I was going to do it or not, but I have an idea. So maybe have a little fun with the draft part. But so guys, please go follow us and what?
Send us your funniest joke.
Yes. Try to keep
Send us your funniest joke. We'll say it on the podcast. We'll give you the credit.
Yes. Try to keep it
hear
more
your name
family friendly too.
Airwaves.
Try to keep it family friendly if you can.
Man, nothing smutty, guys. Just funny.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of clean, funny jokes.
I know mine was stupid, but I thought it was funny.
It's not as good as that Chewy commercial, Cody. I love that. I want that dog from the Chewy commercial.
Okay, I'm sorry, guys. Real quick. So we've talked about that guy. Was it the Geico commercial with the walrus and the goal? So for the last 2 weeks, all the Dallas Hockey Stars players have been calling Ottinger Duncan because that's the walrus's name from the commercial.
Did they tell him not to go sleepy?
Sorry, I forgot. I don't know why I just thought of that. So, all right, guys. Well, we're gonna sign off. So, like I said, please follow, listen, tell your family and friends about us. Send us questions, comments, jokes. Or tell us who your favorite player is too. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm Cody. Let's go Ducks.
Gary. Go Kings, go.
All right.
We love you guys.